If you click this video, it's because you want to learn how to buy land and build houses for profit, plain and simple. And in this video, I'm going to give you the where, the how, and the what you need to be building for the largest profits in your area. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you not only how to build one house, but how to bridge into your second house while you're building your very first house, how to set it up financially to be able to take advantage of not building just your first house, but also setting yourself up for your second house and your future builds. If you're new here on my channel for the first time, then click and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content just like this. Hi everybody, my name is Jerome Maldonado. I've been building and developing commercial and residential homes for almost 3 decades. And I'll tell you, by far, it's where you build that makes the biggest difference if your build's gonna be profitable or if it's not. It's how you build it financially that really gives you the financial gains that you're looking for on every single build. But it's what you build that allows you to be able to bridge the gap between the where and the how to make it profitable. Make sure that it ensures resale fast to be able to prevent any excess downward time on days on the market and extra cash out of your pocket for payments. Let's go up to step number 1. Let's talk about where we actually build these houses. Like, if I want to build a house, where do I go to build a house? One of the biggest mistakes most people make is they're just looking for any piece of land that's just a great deal or what they feel to be a great deal. But really, a great deal is not a great deal unless it's going to be profitable. In fact, the biggest mistake most people make is if they go in and buy land in the wrong area. And so you don't want to go in and buy land in the wrong area. How do you prevent that? Well, you need to know what you're looking for. And we're looking for affluency. There's a handful of key components on where we build. And let's go through them. So find profitable land. You have to find land that's profitable. Well, you sit back and say, well, Jerome, how do I know that the land is profitable? Like, are the weeds growing in green money? Is the grass growing up with green dollar bills coming out of them? How do I know that that land is profitable? Well, you follow demographic growth, right? So we're following progressive growth. We're going to go down. When I go into a new city, I love sitting down with that municipality and following their progressive growth plan. Every single city across the United States has a progressive growth plan. If you go into the municipal offices of whatever municipality that you're living in or desiring to build in, they will sit with you and they will express to you what their progressive growth plan is and what those progressive growth areas are, where the city is supporting growth and where they're cutting roads, where they're supporting infrastructure, and where growth is being promoted. I love going into areas that is promoting growth. Secondly, if there's an area that's infill and it's not promoting growth in a specific demographical area, then you need to put yourself in a position where you're finding an area that's either infill that has incentives or being gentrified, meaning that it is being incentivized by builders, developers, and the city is promoting rehabilitation, renovations into a downtown, an uptown, or progressively supporting growth into an already existing area that they want that area revamped and regentrified into new, young families, growth, money, restaurants, retail. They want that area booming again. And so we want to find that out. How do you do that? You just make a quick stop down at the municipality. No, you don't do it on the phone. You can't see the progressive growth maps on the phone. So the biggest mistakes most people make is they try to do everything exclusively off their smartphones. Your phone is a smartphone, but it's only a phone. You have to humanize the business and where you're going to go look for land. Third, you need to go into areas that have money. You don't go into broke areas. Where do you find money? You find where's money printed? It's printed in other people's back pockets. And so if you go into an area where average median homes are being built and the average median home buyer is living month to month, paycheck to paycheck, and a lot of them have more month left at the end of their money and they're volatile to market circumstances, that's not the area to go build because the spread of equity isn't large enough. And so let's talk about this here because number 3, when you follow money actually leads us into the how you build. And how you build is very important. That's number 2. So let's talk about following money here because it's a big perspective and in my opinion, bigger than even the first 2. So if you're going through progressive growth and even if you're going to a gentrified area, if the area is broke and it doesn't support resale values that are profitable, how do you make money? So I want to go into an area and I want to find an area where money is being printed by people who have it. Okay. Now, when we go into these areas, we know that we need a profitability. What's that profit? Okay, so let's talk about the how we build this. Okay, we build this, the way we build this is for profitability. So how we're going to build this out is in an area that we know there's profit. So let's take a simple theoretical example of a house selling for $800,000. Is it a wealthy home? No, not by far, but it is an area that has enough affluency there that you know there's bottom line profitability. And the answer is possibly. Let's check. Okay, so now we know at the very least we have to have what the banks are going to stabilize this house for in value so that we can get lending on it. So the biggest mistake most people make, and this is the typical mistake in people's brains that hinder them from growing, it hinders them from getting loans, it hinders them from doing larger projects. And the biggest problem is that, like fix and flippers go through this, is that there's not enough equity spread. You have to ask yourself, what are banks looking for? They're looking for protection. They want to know that they have enough loan to value that it protects the bank. So the banks sit back and they want to have an equity spread of at least 20 to 25% on the resale value of that asset. So before we even go into an area, do we at least have enough to support a profitability that gives us the equity that the bank needs to stabilize? And if it doesn't, we shouldn't be building in that area either, because there's not enough equity for us to go in and collateralize against the loan, meaning we're not going to get lending without coming out of pocket with larger dollars. If you want to learn the exact strategy of how to buy the right piece of land in the right area to build a house, if you want to learn the exact strategy that I've been utilizing for almost 3 decades, then text me the word land at 505-560-0520. Let's go ground up. Let's buy land. Let's build houses, and let's start right now. Let's explain that, because that's a loaded explanation right there with no explanation. Let's go in and let's break this down. Now, when we resell the house, or if we want to stabilize that house and keep it for sake of example, what is the most amount that the bank is going to give to us as an investor? Typically, it's going to be 80% loan to value. As an investor, they want to know that you have 20% of the skin in the game. Now, I want to be a little more conservative because I'm building it construction-wise. We have to go get comps. So we're going to go in and we're going to collateralize it at 75% loan to value. And that's what's called your ABV. That's your after build value. Okay, so we're going to do this where we collect comps. We're going to have comps on the area. We want to know that that house holds a value of $800,000 upon completion of construction compared to other like properties in the area. Now, based on those comps, we have to ask ourselves, what do we know about the banks? We know the banks want 80 to 75% loan to value at stabilization. Okay, so if we know that, let's take that number on $800,000. If we take 75% of $800,000, we know that we have $600,000 left over. Okay, and what I mean by $600,000 left over is that $200,000 needs to be our profit point. That needs to be our equity stance, because if it's not our equity stance, anything different than that, we're coming out of our own pockets to pay the bank at closing on this construction loan. So now we have to back into this project, and it's called reverse engineering. When we reverse engineer into a project, this tells us where we have to be with our construction costs. So let's say that we have a 2,500 square foot house, okay? We have $600,000 that we have left that we can afford to buy the land, okay? Build out the entire project, pay for closing costs to real estate agents, brokers, and title companies, and our debt service on the asset. Those 4 variables are our expenses. You have to take all 4 of those into account in that $600,000 spread. So if the resale comps show $800,000 resale value on the comps, we know that 75% of that's the $600,000. The 4 variables of the $600,000 is the cost of the land, the cost of the build, the cost of closing, and the cost of debt service. Those 4 expenses have to share that $600,000, and there's a dividend of that. Now, you have to meet the market standards, and let's talk about the market standards, because that leads us over to the what you build, okay? So that goes into number 3. What we build is very, very, very important, because if we don't build the right product, we're not going to be able to sell it. So when we go in and we talk about the what, that's going to support the how we build it, because we can only build what's going to sell. And if we don't build what's needed in a given area, we can't resell the property. So everything that we do is based on what we build is based on comps. We build what is already selling in the area. We don't reinvent the wheel. We don't go into areas where we're the Lone Ranger trying to prove concept, especially not if it's your first build. Now, if you go in and you have experience, you have a couple years under your belt, you understand the area demographically, that's different. But on your very first build, we don't reinvent the wheel. We go in and we copy. I'm a copycat. You know, in school, guys, I was dyslexic. I was a copycat, but I didn't sit by the dumb person. I sat by somebody who got A's. I didn't sit by somebody that was getting F's and D's. I sat by somebody who's getting A's. And so, ladies and gentlemen, you've all done it. So if you're sitting back judging me going, oh, this guy, he copied in school. Yeah, I did. I was dyslexic. School sucked. I was a C student at best, and I struggled to do that, but it got me all the way through pharmacy school, and I got wealthy doing this, building houses. So when I tell you guys, copy what works, I'm telling you, copy what works. Be a copycat. Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't try to go out there and be the Lone Ranger. Just copy what's already working in the area and already been proven. The concept has been proven, and duplicate that. Now, we're looking for two things. We're looking for the highest price per square foot that's sold in resale value, and we're looking for the lowest days on market. Those two variables protect us. Now, if you find resale values under $300 per square foot, your profitability is going to be low, and you may not hit that 20 to 25% equity stance at stabilization if you're under that. And so you got to be very careful. Now, we're weighing this based on today's current construction prices and the resale values of these homes based on comps. And so when we go in, it's realistic that if you purchase land in an area where homes are selling for under $285 a square foot, you're going to have little to no profitability. So you have to be over $285, but $300 per square foot is the magical number to really start making profits and hold enough equity in that 20 to 25% loan to value, that after build value, that ABV, to get the lending you need to have that spread of profitability, to have lower amounts of money out of your pocket. Now, when we go in, we're going to look at what is needed in the area. If they tell us we need 3-car garages, we're going to build 3-car garages. If they tell us we need 4-bedroom homes, we're building 4-bedroom homes. If they tell us that it's a retirement area and we don't need more than 3-bedroom homes because everything with too many bedrooms is too big and sits on the market longer, we're going to build 3-bedroom homes. We're not going to build what we want. No one cares. We're going to build what the market needs, not what we want. Now, when you bridge all three of the where, the how, and the what's, that's how you marry profitability in every single family, ground up residential build, giving you the ability to go in and make strong 6-figure profits, larger than most people make in an entire year working a full-time job. Now, here's what's important, guys, is how you bridge this gap between your first home and your next home. And as I promised at the beginning of this video, I'm going to share with you how to take this very first home and get yourself in a position to start building house number 2 the second and the day that the house number 1 sells, allowing you to move into house number 2 and ultimately setting yourself up for residual builds that you compound over the course of time. Look, for more incredible content just like this, don't forget to click and subscribe to our YouTube channel and pound that thumbs up button. The biggest mistake most people make is they put too much money into their own projects and they keep it there until they're done. The goal is not to do that. The goal is to have that 20 to 25% spread of equity in your build. How are you going to utilize that spread of equity to get your money back? Well, the bank is going to require a spreadsheet. The underwriting spreadsheet is going to go through a line item by line item of every cost of that build before you actually take down the build. You take a set of prints out to bid. This set of prints that you take out to bid is going to go to your subcontractors. They're going to give you back prices before you start building. One of the prices that you're going to put on this spreadsheet is your cost that you've invested to take this out of the ground, which is the cost of getting your entitlements. It's your architecture, it's your blueprints, it is your engineering, and it is all of your survey work that it takes to get your permits and your financing. There's probably about $8,000 to $15,000 worth of expenses on the front end. Now, we want that money back immediately. It's easy to be able to utilize business lines of credit or bridge money to be able to get this out. Typically very expensive money that you don't have for most people getting started. So it's very easy to find these bridge lenders. In fact, I have them available as affiliates when you're working with us. Now, With that said, you cannot afford to keep that money tied up in your build to the end. So what we do is we put it on this spreadsheet and we get our construction lending. We exit it out in the very first draw of closing on the land to build this house. When we take that money back, we pay off the high interest debt that we have to build house number 1, and we immediately go in to working on entitling build number 2. So now we take our original proceed amount out of the build number 1, that because we have in our spreadsheets, and now we're $0 in to our entire project on build number 1, allowing us the freedom and flexibility to go in and start working on entitlements on build number 2, so that you can create a pipeline of builds immediately as you build house number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, buying land and building houses seems like a massive undertaking, but it's not when you have the right information, the right step-by-step processes. To learn how to go in and retain land and build houses, comment the word build down below and let's get building. Click and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to give me the love that we deserve and pound that thumbs up button. And until next time, go out and compound your success.